It's time for a new BandLab tutorial, and today I'm gonna show you how you can make these beats. This beat is influenced by Knucks. It's not fully a Knucks type beat, but with the piano, I think you get a bit of his vibe, so let me know what you think. Anyway, let's not wait any longer, let's get started. The first thing we're gonna look at is the piano, so it sounds like this. First thing first, make sure you set your BPM to 140. This is typical for drill beats, so that's the starting point. Then you want to create a new track, a new virtual instruments track. Okay, there we go. And here you can choose your instrument, so you can leave it by default. It's on Studio Grand, which is the piano. So you can leave it like that. And now the thing I'm gonna do is to go here at the bottom on MIDI editor. The thing I want to do now is to activate the smart view here at the bottom, and this way I can have all the notes of a scale that I can choose. So the scale we're gonna use here is a D minor scale. Okay, so this is going to be the key of the song, D minor. All right. Awesome. So the D is my root note. Let's start with the D minor chord, should we? Let's zoom in a little bit. So I need a D, and then I'm gonna skip a note, put an F, and then skip a note and put an A. And this is my D minor chord. Let's make the MIDI region a bit longer, so I can just drag it on the right side. There we go. And here on the second bar, I'm gonna do another chord, which is going to be an E diminished chord. Don't worry, it's easy to make, so you just need an E, and then it's the same thing. You can skip a note, so you have G, and then again skip a note, so you have a B flat. This is my starting point, and let's make it even a bit longer. Okay, until here. Let's copy and paste the D minor chord here that I'm going to repeat on the third bar. So here where it says number 3, so third bar. Okay, there we go. Boom. Let's zoom out a little bit. And this time we're going to make a little changes here. And first, let's copy and paste the E diminished chord we made. But instead of having the bass note here as an E, I'm gonna put a D. And if you want to know a bit the theory about it, we have in fact here a G minor chord, so we can play G, B flat, and D. And as you can see, we have the same pattern as before. We have a note, we skip one, a note, we skip one, and another note. But now I can play the D an octave lower. And there we go, G minor. So the chords are D minor, E diminished, D minor, and then G minor. Okay, and then it's gonna repeat itself. The next step is to make those chords a bit more interesting. We want to have something more to it, not just chords after chords, if that makes sense. So, to do that, let me show you what I did. I just played some additional notes. So for example, you can repeat the F note here. Let's make all my chords longer. And this time we're gonna play again the second note and also the first one here. You guessed it, we're gonna do the same thing here. Let's double this note, the F. Why not keeping the same idea here? But we're gonna switch the notes. So instead of playing G, E, we're going to play E, G. And there we go, this is our starting point. The last thing I want to do with this track is to make it sound a bit nicer, a bit crispier. So to do that, I'm going to add a few effects. You can go here at the bottom on Effects. And the first one I'm going to use is called Tape Simulator. It's going to give me some vintage touch. Let's turn down the drive a bit. It definitely sounds warmer like that. Let's A/B it. Alright, we're not done yet. So the next one I'm gonna use is called Multi-Filter. You can find it here on Tone. And this is the one. I'm gonna change it to a high-pass filter. I'm gonna turn down the resonance. This way I make sure to cut the low frequencies so I can have the lows for the bass and the kick drum. Alright, we need two more effects and we're gonna add a reverb and a delay. Let's start with the reverb. I'm gonna choose this one, Univerb. Here you can change the type of reverb, so you have different sounds basically. Let's go with this one, and now I'm going to add the delay. So again, I click on Add Effects and then on Delay. Let's go with the simple filter echo. I'm gonna play with the cutoff. Play with the time to have shorter repetition and bring up a bit the feedback. Lastly, I'm gonna turn down the mix. There's definitely more life to this piano, so without any effects, this is what we've got. A bit boring, so why not adding all the effects? Good stuff, we can now move on to the 808s. As usual, let's create a new track. So, add track, virtual instruments. And then I'm always gonna go with my favorite 808 in BandLab, which is this one, the saturated bass. Let's say it's the heaviest bass you'll find in BandLab. Okay, as a reminder, you need to go here on MIDI editor, and then if it's not done, you can activate the Smart View, and remember, we're in a key of D minor. So, you need to select the right key. Otherwise, you're gonna be out of tune, and trust me, you don't want that. So, the first chord is a D minor, so you just wanna play a D note. Let's play it lower. And even lower. There we go. There are different ways you can make your 808, but the simple way is just to have the D here. Those are the more important bars for your 808. The first one and the third one, that's where it hits on the one beat. And from here, there are different options. You can, for example, play with octave just before the repetition. So, you can play a D here, for example. Why not? Or if you want, you can play the bass note, so the E. And same thing for the last bar. As we saw, we have a G minor, so you can play a G. What I did here is slightly different, so I played a bit with those notes here. It works well. Alright, we have the piano loop, we have the bass, now we need to add the drums. Add track and then sampler. Here you can just drag and drop your favorite drum samples, or you can choose some samples from here, from BandLab Sounds if you want to. But if you know my channel, you know that I like to make my own drum kits. Then if you want to support me, you can access it by subscribing to my Patreon. So, that's an option if you want to have the same samples. Let's start with a simple drill beat. So I want to have a hi-hat here. Here, I'm gonna skip 2. Gonna skip 2 again. Alright, and then 1, and it starts again. And there we go. This is a bit too obvious, so let's get rid of those ones here and here. A bit easier in a way, but as we say, less is more. Let's copy and paste it again. Then I'm gonna play with the second hat. And a third one. I'm gonna add some hats here at the end. Why not one here to add some bounce? So this way it's going to be a bit more subtle and quieter. The very last thing you can do with those hats is to add some rolls, and to do that you want to zoom in the more you can. Then I hold the Command key, or the Windows key on Windows, I guess. And this way I can make the rolls. Again, let's turn it down with the velocity. Same thing here, let's have some rolls going on. Let's do a sort of build up with the velocities. Something like that, for example. Let's move on, and this time I'm gonna add the snare. You wanna start on the third beat. And then the fourth one. If you want to, you can repeat that. Since we're making drill, you can have some more offbeats with the snare. So typically you want to do that here at the repetition, and you can really be creative with it. So let's try to add one here, and let's try to have this one on the offbeat here. Okay, sounds more drill. Then we need the kick. First of all, let's add it on the first beat of the first bar and the first beat of the third bar. It's quite common to have it here as well on the third and fourth beat at the end. We can add a few more kicks, so for example here. There we go. If you're happy with it, you can just select everything and just copy and paste it here. Then it's optional, but you can add some more variations, add the repetition. So let's say you want to change the snares, for example, or the kick. You can do that here. Okay, let's try that, for example. This is the whole drum loop. Something like that, for example. To finish this beat, I added a guitar loop that I recorded myself, so. Let's add everything on top of it. And there we go, we just made a simple drill beat. That's it for today and this tutorial. I hope you liked it and that you've learned a lot of new things. Let me know what you think of this beat in the comments. As usual, you can support me by subscribing to my channel and by liking this video. I'll see you very soon for a new video. Stay tuned, take care, bye bye.